Hello, welcome to Mini Shop's third ever how-to video with myself, Elizabeth, and today we're going to be making a little wheelbarrow with a rotating wheel. What you're going to need is some clay, black clay. This is my hunk of clay, but you don't need that much. Just need a 2 ounce or even less of black clay and brown clay. Some toothpicks, a potter's needle, or toothpicks work just fine, and an x-acto knife. You can also use a butter knife, but once you've used it on clay, do not use it for food again. All right, we're gonna take some clay, about this much, a big ball of clay. Actually, for just this, we just need this. I'm going to roll it in a ball. By rolling it in a ball, you take it between your hands and in your palms, roll it like so. All right. Once you've rolled it into a ball, take between your index and thumb and press down. We're going to squish it, and then from the center, we're going to kind of pull out. We're wanting to make it into a flat sheet here. I usually do this with my pasta roller, but I was going to just show you how to do it if you don't have a pasta roller. All right, set it flat on your work surface. You can also take, if you have something you can roll it with, just roll it evenly apply pressure across. I wouldn't suggest doing it with a rolling pin though, unless you have a specific one that you won't be using for food. All right, it's about this thickness that we're aiming for. We're going to take our potter's needle and draw a rectangle. About 2 inches by 1.5 inches, I'd say. This is the base of our wagon. And then we're going to add the sides of the wagon. Gonna go up about maybe 3/4 of an inch. And here's a little tip. Take a piece of clay, mold it so that it goes mold it so it's the same height as that. And that's how you can measure all the way around and make sure that your wagon, the sides of your wagon are the same height. Mark it all the way around, line it up with the base, and then we're going to draw this like so, all the way around. All right. Now, since we want curved edges, and if you don't, you can skip this step, I'm gonna take an eyeball about halfway down in between here, and then another to 1/4. Make a little mark there, halfway 1/4, make a little mark, and curve it from the base here to our mark. And then curve it from the base to our mark. Now we're going to take our x-acto knife and cut. Now, if you are working on any surface that you don't want damaged, I'd put a piece of cardstock like I have here down so that you don't cut it, and then you don't have to apply much pressure, just a little bit to cut the clay. All right, go around cutting it. Sometimes you have a little tricky piece that doesn't want to come off, but just go along the lines again and just clean it up. All right, now that we have that, we're going to take our potter's needle. Caroline is snoring next to me, silly dog, and make an indent along where we had. Make an indent on this flat portion so that on the other side we can flip it over and draw across like so. All right, and draw across. Now what we're going to do is fold them. Fold the pieces. Like so. And like so. All right, we want the edge of this to match the edge of this. This and this, those are great descriptive words, but you can see what I'm doing here. All right. take these two and smooth them together a little bit. It's almost as if you're going to squish it, but you don't. Just apply slight pressure. We want everything to be at 90-degree angles all around, as you would have in kind of an old-fashioned wheelbarrow. So this is what it should look like. About. Now we want to take our potter's needle again and make beams. So apply light pressure again, like we did when we were drawing our outline. Apply light pressure here, here, and at the bottom, all the way around. All right, when you're at these edges, they don't match, or they don't, the clay kind of smooths over a little bit. So what you're going to do is indent on the side here and then kind of push your potter's needle back that way to make it a smooth transition. Okay, like so. Okay, now we're going to make our texture of our wood. So what I like to do is add little knots. Adding knots to the wood. And then add just the slightest amount of pressure to make the grains of the wood. And once we get to the knots, go around. Going around the knots. Okay. That's how you do the wooden texture. And on this side, to make it look like the end of a beam, take and make a half a circle and half a circle all the way around. All right, half a circle like so, like so. On this side, I just kind of make it look like it's rough cut. Just like that, and like that. Okay, now that you've done that all the way around, ooh, don't forget about the top. We're going to set it down and make these supports. All right, take some clay again. Take a little bit more this time. Roll it out into a ball. Sometimes it's a little cold, so it'll need to warm up in your hands. Roll it. Got your ball, squish it between your fingers again, but this time pull it from the center out to the sides. Pull it, because we want a longer piece of clay to work with. Set it on your work surface, and if you have something to roll it with, you can roll that out. Otherwise, continue to make it even with your fingers. Okay, now what we're going to do is fold this in half. Fold it in half and kind of stretch it out a little again. gives it a nice curved edge, nice-ish. So we want it to look like old wood, so it has to have a little character. All right, now we're going to take this and cut it to be about the height of one of the beams, so probably between 1/2 and 1/4 inch. Now actually take a little piece of clay and measure, use this measuring tool again. That's how high it should be. So that's how high we want it over here. Actually cut the edge so it's nice and even. Set the clay down, mark it. I'd mark it about halfway as well. Sometimes it's easy to get off, maybe even 1/4 of the way in. Okay, I'm gonna trim this edge up and draw a line all the way across, hitting those marks. All the way. There you go. And now, cut it. Okay. Now you can take this and soften those edges with your finger. Pull down a little bit. It's okay because we'll be texturing it, but I just like to make it look a tad bit nicer. Okay, now see about how long you want it and see if this is the right height. We like here, I want it to be a little bit shorter and even, make the side a little bit more even. So, all right, I want it to be about yay long. So I marked it with my nail there. You can take it and mark it with something else like this. Cut it. And then we'll make our second piece. If it gets a little too thin, what you can do from the sides is push from the sides and then soften them together. If you keep smushing things, don't get discouraged because it's easy to do, but clay is forgiving. All right, take those and these beams, match them up, see if they're how you would like them. So, yeah, I like that. So what you're going to do is on the bottom of this, we've already got a little bit of texture. We'll add a little bit more. Actually, what we want to do is take our potter's needle and mark as we pull it up. Now, mark where we want to put this. So when we take it off, we'll remember. Okay. So now, texture that gap just a little bit so it attaches to the wagon. Set it on top again where you had your marks and take your potter's needle, press all the way through down to that beam. Press all the way through down to the beam. Down to the beam. Sometimes you'll miss. Just reevaluate. Down to the beam. All right. Now, take your potter's needle again and apply pressure on the side. Apply pressure on the side here. Apply pressure on the side. This is connecting it. Pressure and would I get copyright for that? I don't know. Okay. Now to cover up these holes, pull from each side of the hole and then follow the grain again over them, like new. Pull from the side, follow the grain, pull from the side, follow the grain, pull from the side, follow the grain. Okay, Now we want to add the grain to these beams. So we'll just add our knots and go to town. Okay, once you've textured your beams, take the ends, and on this end I like to bring it down like so. And on the, so like it's a rough cut, and then the other end, do more of a smooth cut, so as if there were the rings of the tree. This, adding circle after circle. There you go. Okay, now that we have this, we're going to set it down for a second and take any of our leftover beam pieces and cut it about the thickness of this. That's 1, 2. These are our supports. Now for our supports, we're going to put them right at the base here of this wheelbarrow, or aligned with this. I'm going to pull the clay down so that it stays. Pulling it down, pulling it down. Okay. Now, making a line there to distinguish it again. I'm going to put little knots in here, weather this, not weather, texture. To make it look weathered, you can add a bunch of different colors in the beginning, add a bunch, probably some gray and lighter brown, all those pretty wood colors. It's really up to you, whatever you want to do with it. And then take this other piece, or if it's too small, cut a new one, match them up. Okay. Do the same thing on this side, pulling it down so that it stays, making the knots, texturing it. There we are. Now I'm doing it a little bit rushed, just so you can see the process, but take your time on it. You can take as much or as little time on these, whatever your patience level allows for. Okay, now we've got that part of the wheelbarrow. Time for the wheel. Take some clay, about probably a fingernail size, roll it into a ball. With smaller balls, I like to roll them in between my fingers, and then apply pressure to make it even, flattening it like a little tiny pizza so that it's about this thickness, maybe a tiny bit thicker actually. There you are, probably about a 1/4 inch of thickness. And then this is going to go in between these two, like so. And we're going to put it about halfway in between, so you can eyeball it again. That's about halfway through the wheel on both sides. Take our potter's needle and stick a hole through, kind of like you're drilling through, until it emerges on the other side, and then widen the hole a tad by making circular motions. Okay, pull it out. Take this wheel off. See if it's centered. If it's not, just make it so. And you want to have it circular, otherwise it'll be a wonky wagon, like da-dunk, da-dunk. Okay, take these holes, make sure they're good, nice and smooth. Take a toothpick from your toothpick box and set it about on top, right in the middle of this one, and then mark where your center is on this, or just hold it like so, and then set it on your work tabletop. Press down, apply some pressure. Take that mark and snap it. Sometimes it won't snap. There we go. No, okay. That'll work. That's the concept. You can do it better, I'm sure. That is too small. Okay, we're gonna retry that. Retry. Do it on this side. All right, about, you know what? Here's a better idea. Take a piece, measure it halfway between there, this beam, and halfway between this beam. That size is the size you'll want to cut your toothpick to. Set it next to your toothpick. Apply pressure with the knife, and quite a bit of pressure actually. And then take the one side of the toothpick and pull up. I think this is just a bad toothpick. I haven't had this happen before. Okay, it should snap easily off like that. What you're going to do is put this wheel back in there. Oh, no. First you texture the wheel. I'm gonna rush through this one a little bit, but you can texture it as however you would like it. Just go all the way around. You can make finer circles than I'm doing. And then this part of the wheel, like so. Sometimes I just move it between my fingers and hold the potter's needle steady, like this. Okay, and we've got our wheel is ready to go. Make sure that hole's nice. And then we're going to take the correct toothpick and put it in between the beams, put the toothpick through, make sure it goes through the center there, and then into the other hole. And then you can take your potter's needle, hold this side, take your potter's needle and push it through. So you want it to be halfway through each of them. Make sure there's a little tiny bit of a gap here so it can rotate. Now, we're going to take the black clay, about this big of a piece, roll it into a circle, make it a tiny little bit of a cylinder, and plop it in the hole. There we go. Now, take your knife and make a little piece like that. So it looks like a bowl. Do that on the other side. Take a little bit, roll it in a circle, make it a cylinder, plop it in the hole, and like that. Okay, pretend I've textured all these, but make sure to sign your name. I'm EZK. And the year 2019. And then bake your wheelbarrow in a normal oven if it's Sculpey clay at 275 for 15 minutes. With this clay, it's a little soft, so what I would do is add a little bit of tinfoil right here, right here, right here, and across here, so that it doesn't go like that. or it doesn't go like this. All right, like and subscribe mini shop if you want to. Next week, we're probably going to be doing an umbrella. I won't say next week because it might be a few weeks, might be a few days. I hope you guys had fun and enjoyed. Have a good week. Bye.